1975, the Eagles, Led Zeppelin, and the amazing Rhythm Aces. Wait, who? In the shadow of rock's biggest giants, a handful of one-hit wonders snuck in, dropped unforgettable songs, and then poof, disappeared. Today we're rolling back the clock to revisit 10 songs that once ruled the airwaves. So get ready to crank it up because 1975 is about to blow your mind all over again. We open up with number 1, Jackie Blue from the Ozark Mountain Daredevils. The Daredevils struck gold with Jackie Blue. Sung by drummer Larry Lee, its hazy, hypnotic sound carried the Daredevils to number 3 on the Hot 100 list. The Ozark Mountain Daredevils remained respected in the southern rock scene, but Jackie Blue was their only major pop crossover. Still, it's a song that instantly transports you right back to the mid-1970s. And the next artist? Well, he's a Brazilian balladeer whose song was so big, it sparked a lawsuit that followed him around for decades. Coming in at number 2 is Feelings by Morris Albert. Feelings. You know, for a few months back in 1975, this Brazilian singer-songwriter was everywhere. Feelings swept across radio stations worldwide, earning a Grammy nomination and cementing Albert as the face of soft, aching romance. But guess what? Years later, a court ruled its melody was quote-unquote borrowed from a 1950s composition, sparking a plagiarism controversy that lingered for decades. Albert never had another major hit, but Feelings became one of the most covered ballads of the era. From tender ballads, we shift to a soaring falsetto and a pop anthem built for the dance floor. At number 3, Sky High by the band Jigsaw. While Sky High hit the US charts in late '75 and soared to number 3, most listeners didn't know it was originally written for the 1975 martial arts spy film The Man from Hong Kong. And the lyrics weren't a love song at all. They were actually meant to taunt the villain in the movie after he gets betrayed. So Americans would dance the night away under the disco ball without a clue. The song's real origin was tied to high-flying stunts, kung fu fights, and an Australian action flick that nobody ever saw. Speaking of disco balls, our next track wasn't built just for disco dancing. It was built for a brand new dance craze. Van McCoy checks in at number 4 with his hit, The Hustle. Everyone remembers The Hustle, the song that had America sliding, spinning, and pointing in disco clubs in 1975. But here's the part most people never knew. You see, Van McCoy never even planned to make it a single. He just so happened to be in New York City visiting friends, wandered into a nightclub, saw a brand new line dance the locals were calling The Hustle, and decided on a whim to write a song about it. But it turns out The Hustle would become his one and only major hit under his own name. Don't feel too bad for him because it won him a Grammy, sold millions, and became the soundtrack to an entire era, all because of one unexpected night out in a Manhattan disco. And now, from the bright lights of the disco ball, we move to an intimate lullaby that conquered the charts. At number 5, Loving You by Minnie Riperton, which climbed to number 1 in April of 1975 and became her signature song. It began as a gentle lullaby Minnie sang to her baby daughter Maya. Minnie Riperton's Loving You wasn't just a song. It's the kind of track that makes you stop and listen, especially when she hit that high note. Wow, just wow.
You is just a dream come true.
Hey, here's a fun fact. If you've ever had a chance to see Maya Rudolph on Saturday Night Live, can you guess who her mother is? Yep, it's Minnie Riperton. Told you, it's a fun fact. And now here's a sad fact. Minnie's life was cut short. She passed away in 1979 at just 31 years old. But her voice, that soaring high note, and her warmth, those live on. And when you see Maya Rudolph smile, it's like you catch a glimpse of Minnie Riperton again. For those of us who remember in 1975 hearing Loving You for the very first time, that connection makes this song even more special. And just when you thought 1975 can't get any more magical, guess what? It did. Literally. At number 6, it's Magic by the band Pilot. The song Magic might sound like a straight-up slice of mid-1970s pop music, but here's the kicker. 2 of the guys in the band had just come from the original lineup of the Bay City Rollers. They left behind the teen idol image and teamed up with a former session player from Elton John's band, and they struck gold with Magic. You want to hear something that's even crazier? The song's guitar and bass parts were nailed in just one take. That's what gives it that loose, breezy feel we all remember. And here's the thing. Magic was Pilot's one and only number 1 hit. They'd never reach those heights again. Next up, a slow jam so smooth. It's making appearances on romantic playlists 50 years later. At number 7 is Love Won't Let Me Wait by Major Harris. That's Philadelphia soul at its finest. Warm strings, silky vocals, and a laid-back confidence that made it a slow dance essential. It has a surprising backstory. You see, Love Won't Let Me Wait wasn't just a slow jam, it was an experience. When Major Harris recorded it in 1975, the studio lights were turned way down low. Just a tiny light was on. In the shadows, Barbara Ingram's breathy background vocals floated through the air, giving the song its unmistakable sensual feel. And maybe that's why, for so many of us, this song didn't just play on the stereo. It set the scene and the tone for some of the most romantic nights of our lives. Up next, the untold story of a band's messy secret that exploded into one of the most unforgettable hits of '75. Checking in at number 8 is How Long by the band Ace.
How long has this been going on?
Ace wasn't your typical rock band. They were seasoned musicians who had spent years playing behind the scenes for some of rock's biggest names. But in 1975, everything changed with How Long, which was written by the band's keyboardist Paul Carrack about a bandmate who was secretly playing with another band behind their backs. He was pissed, and that raw emotion gave the track a haunting honesty that struck a chord with listeners everywhere. It wasn't just a catchy tune. It was a story of friendship destroyed, heartbreak, betrayal. Up next, a voice that floated out of the 70s. Stick around. This one's a classic that still leaves us wondering what really inspired it. At number 9, it's Phoebe Snow's Poetry Man, a song that felt like a whispered secret in the smoky rooms and late-night cafes of the 1970s. With her smoky voice and jazzy, soulful vibe, Phoebe captured the bittersweet ache of loving a man who was as elusive as poetry itself. This wasn't just a song, it was a feeling, a story of passion wrapped in mystery and longing. And for our final stop, we head to Memphis for a band that turned a chance encounter into chart history. At number 10, it's Third Rate Romance by the amazing Rhythm Aces, a song that captured the gritty, bittersweet reality of late-night love affairs of the 1970s. This wasn't your typical rock or country tune. It was a blend of both, wrapped in storytelling that felt real and raw. The band came out of nowhere, but their knack for mixing soulful lyrics with laid-back southern rock vibe made this track an instant classic. Third Rate Romance turned out to be the soundtrack to those smoky bars, fleeting connections, and the kind of late-night decisions we all remember too well and live to regret. And there you have it. 10 songs that lit up 1975 that have disappeared. They may be called one-hit wonders, but for those of us who lived through 1975, each song is a time machine, transporting us back to moments we'll never forget. Ah, those were the days, my friend. We thought they would never end. Until next time, we'll see you on the radio.